No way. That comes as the Mueller witch hunt enters the biggest challenge period tomorrow, the trial against former Trump campaign chair Paul Manafort. Our first guest tonight to discuss the Mueller conflicts, the lack of collusion and any evidence thereof, the prospect of the president being interviewed at all. Joining us tonight, former Deputy Assistant Attorney General Tom Dupree. Tom, great to have you with us. This is looking like a complete and utter mess, with all sorts of rhetoric rising in temperature and tone. And meanwhile, Manafort goes to trial tomorrow, and Mueller has still no evidence, and we're more than 2 years into the investigation of the president for collusion with Russia. What gives?
Well, Lou, I agree that things are heating up. To me, at least, it was striking that, as you point out over the weekend, the president really has taken his offensive against Bob Mueller to a new level. He's alleging conflicts of interest. He's talking about how Mueller might be compromised because of his business disputes, because he was denied the job of director of the FBI. My sense is that the president knows that even if he doesn't have a legal argument that would warrant Mueller's disqualification, that's not the president's audience. He is playing to the court of public opinion, and he is seeding the bed and planting doubts in the minds of the American public about the integrity of Bob Mueller and Bob Mueller's team.
Yeah, and this has been going on for some time, this appeal to the court of public opinion, because the special counsel is leaking left and right, behaving like nothing so much as a prosecutor. He is more, if you will, he's on a jihad of some sort, and it's an ideologically inspired jihad. It is unseemly. The Bar Association has no problem with it. The legal profession, if it can be safely called that, has simply permitted it without comment. There is no independent, objective voice now whatsoever to be heard. It is appalling what has happened and what has been permitted by the Republican leadership in both the House and the Senate. This is a disaster for the country, and the president, frankly, has been, to me, so wronged that it is almost impossible to make it all right.
Well, at the end of the day, I think it is Congress that may make the call here. If you think, as I do, that there would be constitutional problems with indicting a sitting president, then the only remedy would be impeachment. And as you know, that's something that would be decided by the Congress. So the fact that Trump, the fact that Mueller, the fact that everyone is focused on the equities here, public opinion really spinning this and framing this the way that they want to, makes all the sense in the world if you think ultimately it's Congress that could get called in here.
Yeah, actually, I think that somehow there should be a legal action against Robert Mueller for taking on the political responsibility of the Congress and the Senate instead of a legal proceeding against the president. You said impeachment. My God, Tom, what would they impeach him for? Where's the high crime? Where? Where?
So
there isn't
Mueller...
even a low crime. You're the attorney. You're the prosecutor, the former deputy attorney general. How in the hell can anyone in the Justice Department go to work and say, what am I doing today? I'm persecuting the president of the United States, and we've been doing it for over 2 years. And by the way, there's not a damn bit of evidence. What person can look themselves in a mirror and say they have any integrity at all?
Well, the constitutional standard is high crimes and misdemeanors, and so far we haven't seen any evidence of that on the president's behalf.
Okay, now, let's go to low crime. Let's go to little bitty damn crime. I mean, let's keep this thing real. There is no evidence of any crime whatsoever, high or low.
I think at this point, Mueller has not shown his cards, if he has the cards to play. He has not linked any sort of meetings with the Russians. Maybe he gets, Trump's relatives or people close to the president, but he hasn't shown anything linking the president himself to something that would warrant impeachment.
So what are we to do? I mean, you're saying that the default here is, instead of being persecuted by a damn special counsel, and excuse me for swearing, but I am so frustrated and annoyed and disgusted with this entire process and the cowards, the cowardly fools in the leadership of our Congress and our Senate who have permitted this to go on. What is the default is impeachment? for no crimes being found or no evidence of crimes being found during a special counsel investigation? That now becomes the default position? Really, Tom?
No, I
Really?
think the default position would be Bob Mueller gives the president a clean bill of health, that he wraps this investigation up in a few months and he says, I have found no evidence of wrongdoing by the president.
Wrap it up in a few months? How about in a few hours?
Well,
there's nothing there. I mean, what do we need? A little, 400-page document full of nonsense and blather that amount to nothing because nothing is the starting point. It's all they could report. How many pages should that be? One, maybe two?
Well, as we know from American history, these independent counsel investigations are always far longer than you thought they were going to be, not shorter. But it doesn't seem to me out of the question that if Mueller gets what he wants, which is to say an interview with the president, that he would be in a position to bring this thing to close.
Tom, the hell with what he wants. This is no longer, I mean, this is not a game. This is the president of the United States. This nation deserves full-time leadership and no further effort to subvert, to overthrow the presidency of Donald J. Trump. It's ignorant and it's stupid beyond belief that our so ideologically committed left-wing national media can't even bring itself to be honest about what is happening every day in front of them and indeed the country.
My concern, Lou, is that if the president tells Mueller to go take a hike, we are going to be inviting years more of litigation. If Mueller then subpoenas the president and that is battled up through the federal courts for another year or two, that is going to consume even more of this White House's time and prevent the president and his administration from focusing on the things that matter to the American people.
So what would you rate the score at right now? Special counsel versus President Donald J. Trump. What is the score? Because it's actually Special Counsel Robert Mueller versus the United States of America.
Well, and as far as the score goes, I hope that we're in the 8th inning, not in the 2nd inning of this game. However, I would say at this point, I don't think the special counsel has scored any points against the president. Now, to be sure, the special counsel hasn't released his final report. He still may have evidence we haven't seen, but it seems to me if there were something, we probably would have heard about it by now.
I think that you said that in a rather elegant way. What you're saying is there is no way in the world that evidence of wrongdoing in the special counsel, in the possession of the special counsel, could have survived in Washington, D.C. without it being leaked a year ago, 6 months ago.
I would be very impressed if they kept that under wraps.
Tom Dupree, always good to have you here. Thank you so much. Lou.